All aboard! It is time to hop aboard my spaceship because you are now tuned into What is the Matrix TV? And I'm your host, Jason Elm Street Williams, master of the universe. But before we get started with the Trump era 2025 and the Stargate project, we are going to play one of my hit songs off of the new album, America.
You are now rocking with Jason Elm Street. Don't forget the money, man. I love America, but she's so dangerous. I love America, but she's so dangerous. Somebody call her Superman. I am made of kryptonite. The wolves say it's chow time. What we about to eat tonight? What happened on Epstein Island? Did it really take it life? I'm deeper than the ocean floor and higher than a satellite. Yes, I am an alchemist. I murder rubber salesmen. But with no religion. It's the return of the ancient Egyptians. West Coast, California, my family is Riverside. In the Empire, none of ain't a lullaby. This is where the gods dwell and a lot of mothers cry. You can feel the thunder cry. Choctaw Nation, future chief on the rise. From a different dimension, Star Trek Enterprise. I love America, but she's so dangerous. Dangerous. I love America, but
It's a tricky topic.
dangerous. Dangerous. Authentic jewels around my neck, dripping like King Tut. Pop locking on the pyramids. Scotty beaming up, manifested as a god. I in my hieroglyphs. Yes, I am so cold, I can swim in a lava pit. My father who art in heaven, returning in the mothership. Dropping missiles and bombs, sinking the devil's battleship. Roswell crashes, UFO flying saucers. I'm the rap Captain EO, call me the Sunwalker. I'm the rap Captain EO, call me the Sunwalker. I love America, but she's so dangerous. Dangerous. I love America, but she's so dangerous. Rocking with Jason Elm Street. Peace to the God. Peace to the goddess. I love America, but she's so dangerous. Dangerous. I love America.
Peace and love. Donald Trump plans to open up the Stargate. So let me introduce my co-host and my special guest. Today we have JoJo the Great. What's happening, my brother?
Man, what's happening, everybody? How's everybody feeling today? Did everybody eat their vegetables and take their ginger shots?
Always, always. So, Lana, are you there, goddess?
Oh, hey, the goddess is here mixing things up. I was talking to the nurse. I got your
Peace.
elixirs. Hey, what's up, everybody?
And Brother Crib Jesus. We have Brother Crib Jesus all the way from Los Angeles tuning in today. So let's get right into it, JoJo. What are your thoughts on Donald Trump and the Stargate project? And what is your knowledge on the Stargate?
You know, I'm glad you asked that, man. I think that they've been playing with this technology for far too long, and he the only one who told you he's doing it. A few years ago, go ahead and put, there you go, the picture over there in CERN, they let you know they was going to be playing with this stuff real quick. And then they started making a special Air Force team. Did y'all hear about that? Where they're going to be making people in space watching the little things when they open up these portals. And even before then, they prayed to Shiva. So I think that these people in Trump, man, they got some crazy stuff about to come over here, and we're not going to really understand it until it comes. What y'all think?
Most definitely. For those who don't know about CERN, CERN is a project in Switzerland, a whole facility that is based on finding the knowledge in the start of the universe. Basically, they're using photons, atoms, neurons, and electrons and smashing them together to find different universes and to bring in other, what you would call, particles into our universe. So that it's really a particle accelerator. So right here,
It's
you
called the
see,
Hadron Collider. For everyone who wants on the panel want to go look that up on their own time, it's called the Hadron Collider.
okay. And then the meaning of Lord Shiva and the statue at CERN, science meets spirituality. So recently, the government released evidence and proof and announced that AI has discovered multi-universes. And they also have said that they have found proof of scientific fact that time travel is real. So when we talk about CERN, we're talking about the government admitting that they're opening up different multiverses. I don't know if you guys remember the movie Howard the Duck, but if you go watch the movie Howard the Duck, they're using CERN and they're shooting it into the sky. And that's how they were able to bring Howard and other entities to this world. So watch the movie Howard the Duck. So that's what we're dealing with. So, Brother Crip Jesus, do you want to chime in or anything? Lana on CERN or the technology with Donald Trump?
So first thing I want to ask is, I heard about this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when he said Stargate project, I'm like, hold on. So I went and watched, some stuff on it. And when I heard him actually talk to what's the brother? Miso, what's that Japanese brother he got putting the whole 100 billion in? All I saw was like a real estate move. I heard him talk about building all these AI things. Like, I might need a little more information, because is it a Stargate or is it a Stargate City, or what they doing? Like,
We do got a picture of the Stargate.
Hey, Crip Jesus, before you got on the phone when I called him, Jason, a little while ago, I said the same thing. I was like, you say Stargate, but what exactly does that entail? Because it's just like a little thing y'all been doing for some time. Is y'all just opening up there? Hey, but hold on. One thing I wanted to add on the Hadron Collider was, see, when the moment that they started that machine talking about time loops, that energy colliding and it happening at that confined area right there in Geneva, it's so small that area is going to be affected. Be like the 5G towers, it affects how you think, it affects how you feel. So by them attempting to open a black hole,
And
yeah, this was in Switzerland, in Geneva. If you
Learn
go
up.
look at, huh?
No, go ahead. And for those listening to JoJo, go look up Switzerland and what's out there. Learn about the Black Hand, learn about the Black nobility. There's a lot of things that go on in Switzerland. So I'm listening, JoJo.
So as they started to put those together, it started to change the atmosphere and even the eco or the geo. And if you go back to Africa and the pyramids, they're set up in a certain way because Stargates has been something we've been using for eons, but we don't really understand the history and the science behind what really happens when you are successful. And nobody in that CERN knows how to shut that motherfucker down when it gets started. How would you?
Well, there you go. Our ancestors have been time traveling. We're going to bring some hieroglyphics up of proof of the actual wormhole being shown all the temples of Kemet and Tamaray. So, and it's also interesting, y'all, that they're announcing all of these things. They're introducing all these new ideas and applications to you right around the time of the planetary alignment. So all of these things, whether it was celebrating Dr. King's death, the pardon of Marcus Garvey, the AI release, Donald Trump telling you that they're investing $500 billion into AI and opening the Stargate project. So when we talk about the Stargate project, let's talk about first the CERN, like we were talking about when we talk about particle accelerators. Right here, you see a photon particle opening. And so right here, you see the photon beam and you see the probe. So they're actually trying to mimic the actual Big Bang Theory. And like for me, we're in a video game. So when you turn on the light switch, it's like a spark of electricity that gets our electrons, photons, atoms to materialize into our bodies. That's why there's water underneath the Earth's surface. So if there's water underneath, that's electricity. And then we know that there's minerals, copper, and different metals in the dirt and in the ground. We're made of electricity, atoms, photons, and neurons. That's a mirror. That's a hologram of light bouncing off. So therefore, the earth is a whole matrix plane of existence. In our body, what they call the temple of God would be the avatar or spacesuit to house your so-called true identity, what they call the spirit, inside of this vessel. And so when we
It's
talk
crazy,
about,
but hold on, real quick, brother Jason. Man, it's crazy, you guys. We're in a fucking slave planet. On this planet, you are really driven by such a finite level of things and areas on this atmosphere you're able to travel to. If it's just in civil conversation or if it's just ideas and like physical time travel, this is really like a slave planet. It's designed that way and they keep you distracted all the time. And I like how you started talking about how they're giving you all this technology. The big games right now, like Call of Duty, all these fancy ass games are all free. Why do you think that is?
well, for one, look at the God of the Bible and the majority of the people who worship these deities and religions. They're all about war. They're all about taking over people's lands. They're all about not trying to come up to a common agreement or asking questions to unify. It's straight up ordering people to kill. And that's what we're seeing today. We're seeing a group of military operations being handed out from an invisible force, right? So we see Donald Trump, but who's calling the shots who you don't see? Who are the ones controlling the bombs being dropped? Who's controlling CERN? So when we talk about atoms, photons, neurons, and electrons through sound waves, that's why next to the pyramids, you saw all these sound pillars that we were talking about in the Luxor and the Hathor temple. We're talking about sound and boom, using sound, water, and electricity to open up vortexes with certain angles. So therefore, knowing that you're made up of atoms, photons, neurons, and particles of the sun, through sound, you were able to destabilize your atoms and photons, just like they showed you in Star Trek with Beam Me Up Scotty, if you guys remember. And that's why also in the movie and the show Stargate, they show they either have to wear a type of suit sometimes to walk through the Stargate. That's when you start learning about Joseph in the Technicolor jacket, or the cloak of the Illuminati, or certain oils that they speak of, like the Christos. So I'm going to bring up different hieroglyphs. But when I was in Kemet Tamare, you see the priesthood having oils poured over them, and then it looks like electricity. So it seems as if there was an oil put over your body before you walk through the Stargate, possibly because of radiation. But clearly, our ancestors put on the walls that they were able to use certain things like the Pharaoh's rod. For me, the actual Pharaoh's rod was a particle accelerator, just like I want everyone to study the Osiris pillar. So a lot of these hieroglyphs, when you see these brothers and sisters holding, these are actually machines. And once again, for me, the pyramids that are set up all over the planet are stargates. So we were able to travel all throughout the planet by sound frequency to shift our atoms and photons throughout the planet to certain areas, just like our ancient airports. So this is what they're going to start introducing, and that's why they have Elon Musk and these people telling you that they're going to Mars, because they're introducing you to the fact that we're not alone in the universe and that we soon will be an intergalactic civilization again. So here we go.
Hold
Go
on,
ahead.
before you go on, before you move on to that, because that's one of them good little points you make, but I can't let you go on. because that was
Go ahead.
firework right there. I think that's actually really something to talk about because it's going to be interesting when we start finding out more and more information on our end, how the we're not alone is the us, because that's going to change the pool of the momentum, especially of just us. Like when you start seeing these spaceships and people start looking awfully familiar, whether it be from facial features, whether it be from certain characteristics, like actually successfully going through the process of photosynthesis, or if it's different things like that, that's going to be a really interesting time.
It definitely is, brother. That means it's
Talking
something.
about we not alone, man, them niggas right there. Them black
Mm.
folks is the we not theirs.
Well, that's the Stargate program. So the CIA also had a Stargate program that they say shut down. There's something called GATE, GATE, that they had in elementary, junior high, and high school for some schools, where they would test students with certain codes, certain sounds, and I was part of that. And so with Project Stargate and the GATE program, those students who did not conform, who they were training for CIA and military positions and high-ranking positions, those other kids were labeled ADHD and ADD, because then the military created Ritalin and all these other pharmaceutical drugs to destroy what today they call star seeds. So in the 80s, when they started labeling children with ADHD, those were the gods. And hello, like I always teach, ADHD. So we were able to tell our teacher that we were able to time travel with our minds, our remote view. I remember them asking, how did you know about the properties or something of an apple? How did you know I could touch a book and know certain things? And the teacher would be like, you cheated, you read that. And I'd be like, no, I just touched the book, thinking that's normal. So what these teachers who don't look like you, when they see that a so-called black student is gifted, which all of us really are, but when they see that certain students are extraordinary gifted, they report it to the principal, then it goes to the superintendent, and then they tell the CIA and government. They come and test these students, and they say, put that Negro on drugs. And so we learned that ADHD and pharmaceutical was created to destroy a group of, in particular, kids of all colors, but in particularly Nubian Aboriginal kids who were coming in with information to bring about the new world. So the Stargate program basically proved that remote viewing and all these other superhuman powers, we are able to do and activate just like they show you in the movies. So that's why they created the education system. That's why they put poison in our food. That's why they poison the sky and give us these false narratives, and then also give us Jesus and God, because we give away our superpowers when we believe in God and Jesus and all the things.
Also, I want to point out too that our people began to talk. I'm not saying they never talked about it before, but we're not talking about, all the history of all time. So as far as us here in North America, we began to have these discussions a lot about 100 years ago. When you look into the teachings of Elijah Muhammad, Wallace Farr Muhammad, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, even Marcus Garvey, and all these different people that we talk about a lot, due to the horrible racism in this nation, we tend to focus on that a lot as far as their teachings. We tend to overlook the fact that they talked about science, specifically what we're talking about, cellular and molecular structure, and how this you and I verse that we're in is you can poke holes in it, and there's others. You get what I'm saying? They talked about the apparatus, as it's called, the more science, or the wheel, as it's called in the Nation of Islam, in dealing with our ancient ancestors, dealing with other galaxy, other planets, right? So what you notice is this: MK Ultra starts about the 50s. What else starts around then? Right before that, they did what was called the why did I come on this? I didn't know, mind you, everyone, I know what we was talking about, y'all. Jason didn't warn me, so I'm all freestyling.
But
What's that? It was a radio. They made it a movie, but it was a radio announcement. I think it's called War of the Worlds.
Okay.
And
Oh,
War of
oh,
the Worlds was a movie about us being invaded, but it was based on an actual event that took place about 100 years ago. They went on the radio and said, "There's aliens here."
that was
Woo.
LA. That's called the Battle, but actually they said that was real. It's called look it up, y'all. It's called the Battle of LA. Type it in. Battle in the skies of LA, and witnesses say that there was a war in the sky and that it happened and that they took it out of print in the newspaper.
And then
But
they lied and said it was a news prank.
yes,
And then they made the movie Independence Day.
and then they made the show Roswell as well. So right now, look at this picture, you guys. It shows a European man freaking out, right, about what he's finding, what he doesn't know, because we have to remember that we as MERS and Moors and Aboriginal people, the Cometians and Egyptians, taught the Europeans their sciences to a certain degree. You feel me?
I want
They
to chime
couldn't-
in there. Exactly. And that's where everybody needs to understand is that everyone, no, not everyone, I don't like to talk like that, but there's a lot of people who like to drive this victim narrative of what's being hidden and what's being or what was stolen. And it's almost like we talk so highly about our ancestors, but do we really believe what we're saying? Because if we really understand what we're saying, it's like you said, they didn't give them everything. They can't give them everything. It ain't about they was holding something back. How you gonna give them everything? It's so much to give, right? So there are things that they have found that they are truly scared of. Like, we don't understand this, and they hold it back. Or you get what I'm saying? There are things. Okay, for example, when we look at these, what we call so-called religions, or just our ancient cultures, and they speak of these different travels, different entities, we understand it then. But when you switch it out that language into alien, the English language, because the English language is based on the people who don't understand that, who don't know that. So it's newer words used to describe it. These words, when we hear them, we think of the movies we seen connected with them. Makes them think of fear or violence. Like y'all was saying, Independence Day, Roswell. But you'll notice what I was trying to say the first time was MK Ultra and the big campaign of we forcing y'all to go to school with us, right? The 50s. Notice that they really became overly concerned with what we are seeing and hearing and how what is being broadcast and taught to us in that era. When we started talking about this, looking back in the 60s and 70s, you see all the funk dancers with the spaceships and the mothership and the this was a common conversation.
They were doing psychedelics. Keep going, Earth.
I was just getting ready to say that if you take psychedelics, Jason and I had a conversation about this. I said, I went to school and got my graduate degree in psychology. My undergrad was in business. And when I was in that class, all these kids looked so confused while the instructor was talking. And I'm like, I took psychedelics and I remember speaking to a group of people about everything that this professor is saying. So I'm like, my ancestors taught you this. And now you guys turn around, you make these schools and you charge us money to regurgitate the same information that's already embedded in us. Like you were saying, it's in us. Our ancestors gave us the codes. It's in us. We have to activate those codes so that we can go out and start teaching the proper science, because they're not even teaching the proper science and chemistry to our people. You know what I mean? They're teaching it on their version, not our version. So to say, like you said, with psychedelics, you can take that, tap in to your ancestors' information without even having to go get a higher education.
And that's because we're naturally born, sister, as what I refer to as superheroes, as gods. That's what the education system was built upon. That's what these religions are based upon. And the foods, like you speak of. This is why these conversations resonate with us, and it takes us to higher levels of thought, to Hootie, like these movies right here. The Arrival with Charlie Sheen. At the end of the movie, who's the alien? The little black kid. If you watch the X-Files, at the end and you watch all of it, who is it? It's black people. And then they even have an episode where the best baseball player was an alien. It was a brother. The fourth kind, the professor was a brother from UC Irvine. And then we learn about the show Roswell. So they're always dropping us hints that so-called Black people are extraterrestrial. And that's when we study our culture. And that's why they demonize it, because it's going to take us to outer space and then underneath the ocean and beyond. And then physical representations of our airports, which we find, I say, right here in the pyramids. Because
Hey,
I see.
real quick, Brother Jason, I didn't want to interrupt you, but a few seconds ago, first off, hey, Crib Jesus, first time ever talking to you and meeting you, man. It's an honor. Yeah, I like what you said, and I gotta say,
Likewise,
back to
brother. Yes, sir.
thank you, King. Back to let me fix my camera quick. Back to what Jason was saying. Perspective is really, really something that Black people have a great advantage of. I can't really describe it, but the way things just like fall into your alignment as far as like, nah. It's like so intentional. You'll be able to see 3, 4, 5 months in ahead and time travel and be like, if I do this, I can see myself being pissed off from just this decision on this date at this time. And you start going into this mathematical breakdown on how not to arrive to that date of like that designated date of turmoil. It's crazy, man. We definitely have a lot of alien-like features, and not. I keep talking about it. The food, when we eat the right foods, and how we can complete the process of photosynthesis. You guys, that is such an alien-like thing. You go outside, and this big beam shining over your head is what gives you your energy.
Oh, I'm witness to that. I'm witness to that. What did I do? I did a watermelon fast for like 4 or 5 months and just drank watermelon juice, sat in the sun. I had so much energy. I didn't have to eat food.
And you know it's crazy, you guys. I'm trying to think of
You
where
said
it
4 or
was.
5 months.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Damn. I was trying to think where it is, but there's this hospital, and at the top of it, they took out the roof so they could put the hospital beds up there so people could sunbathe. But they only can put them in there for X amount of time, or else their skin is going to boil. Us, on the other hand, we stay up there a couple hours or whatever. Like sunbathing to us is not the same. How you like think about this? Your skin color is the same color as the soil we plant our foods. Your skin is the same color as the night, and in any order of it comes from blue to orange, from yellow. From Black people can touch any pigment. You ever seen a brother so dark he kind of looks purple?
Absolutely.
So and it's not just the ordinary purple. It's like it will radiate you. Like wow.
It's a beautiful. It's a beautiful purple. Yeah.
And the Tamil look like that. Southern India.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like Black people have this unique design and this unique build from our athletics, from our intelligence, from everything. Not to say one is better than the other, but if this was a market for buying sports cars.
So go with that. So for me, when we look at our skin, what happens when our skin gets dry? This is why they put us first. Keep this topic going, but this is why they put alcohol in our communities as well, not just to poison our minds, but to dehydrate us.
And the water, the bottled waters too.
And then they created dams. You guys have to remember, up until recently when the Europeans came, we lived more in a lush environment. Even Southern California, Compton was swamps. You feel me? Riverside, there were multiple rivers all through Riverside. The Europeans recently came and dammed those up, which changed the vegetation, which changed the life, which flooded certain civilizations that we have proof of. But also, like Jojo was saying, our skin color. So that proves that we were more of a reptile. This is why, to me, they put fear of the reptilians, because for me, we are the dinosaurs. We are the talking reptilians who are mixed with what you see here with King, at least some of us, King Sobek. So when I was in Tamare, Kemet, they had statues of King Sobek with Amenhotep. And so also it showed that these beings that I showed walked through the Stargate. So I have pictures of me in Kemet of when they show King Sobek right here to the right. You see him getting gifts from these African priests, and you see him holding a particle accelerator, which they now call the Pharaoh's rod. A lot of these objects that they're holding are machines. Go watch your superhero movies, and they'll show you about the rod. Even in your Bible, the Pharaoh's
Ark
rod.
of a Covenant.
Yeah, the Pharaoh's rod was able to turn into things. God tried to mimic the Pharaoh's rod and the magicians. The Pharaoh's rod was able to split seas and all these things. So right here, you see King Sobek from the Draconian constellation, a humanoid reptile, being greeted with gifts, y'all. So it takes us to this statue that I have, that I took in the museum. So for me, they mated. And so we were able to basically mate with extraterrestrials. So therefore, some of us have reptilian DNA. And that's why a lot of us had on the walls, like Osiris had colors of green. And you see us right here, we have scales. When we get ashy, and we're supposed to be in water more. We're supposed to be able to jump in our lakes like we used to every day, because we live next to water. If you look at all of our ancient civilizations, it was next to water because we are water beings. And recently, scientists have come out once again proving that this once was a water world, a water planet. And then according to their Bible scriptures, what did the God do when he came to this planet? What was already here? Water.
Water. But it wasn't the water that they sell in the stores.
It was, and they said that the Spirit of God hovered over the waters. So once again, I would say this, but there was a brother older than me who also said it, named Dr. Malachi Z. York, and his student said, "How did you learn this?" When I was in Kemet, and I said, "It comes to me." So basically, long story short, when we talk about the Bible and someone saying, who's watching God? Who is watching God arrive to the planet? Who is underneath the waters watching God? Okay, God arrived. God is hovering over the planet. God is making land. God created these beings. Who is watching God? So therefore, there were already beings on this planet watching another group of intelligent beings terraform the planet. So right here, once again, study King Sobek. And that's why, to me, they always show dinosaurs. The Jews, like Steven Spielberg, they make movies like Jurassic Park. They have cartoons like Dinosaurs. And so let me add JoJo back to the stage real quick. So they had shows like Dinosaurs, are the dinosaurs, not the mama, not the mama. And to me, they were black. You know, they really acted certain characteristics. So basically, throughout this time frame, they always show us talking dinosaurs and talking lizards. And that's because for me, when you look at a dinosaur and lizard more, they look more like us. And so for me, that's why they don't want us to study our culture, because it becomes interdimensional. And then once again, even the movie Super Mario Brothers, the last level and the highest level is the reptilian. So that's why King Koopa is the final boss. And what is King Koopa about? It's about a crystal that is able to merge the dimensions together. And then also, what do we use to travel? The pyramids. So right in front of our face, they're using technology now, trying to mimic our ancient technology to travel through different dimensions. And for me, the government already did it, and they're time traveling now. And that's why you learn about deja vu. That's when you watch the movie Dial of Destiny, watch all the Indiana Jones, Dial of Destiny, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Learn about
But to my knowledge, when people time travel,
and learn about Adolf Hitler, and learn about Operation Paperclip. And so learn about NASA and how they faked the moon landing, and learn about the Stargate program.
Hey, hold on real quick, you guys. I don't know if everyone on this panel knows, but NASA, when they originally started, was an aquatics company. They started going into the sea, trying to explore what's down there. When they got down there, they found something they didn't like. And as soon as they said that, they said, let's build a spaceship and get the fuck up out of here. And the whole entire time, they've been trying to figure out how to get their ass past that, what we would consider to be the firmament. But they're only going off of the knowledge of to which the earth is shaped, the atmosphere, everything of that. We can only go so high because we don't have the technology to be able to go that high. And on top of that, real quick to backtrack on as far as government and technology, you guys, do you remember in the founders' statement of America, it was a civilized, ancient, whatever civilization? They may have destroyed it, but how much did they keep? How much information did they been rolling off, and they just given us 100 years past date of what they have?
They
If
are
we could do FaceTime, then what makes you believe that we can't do no intergalactic FaceTime and we do this holograms and we just boop, I'm there?
They do it. The CIA already says that they're 50 to 70 years ahead of the technology that they release to the public. They're not going to give us all that. So
Well,
they already do. And then before you go, Crip Jesus, I popped up the Mesoamerica because when you read about Mesoamerica, they will say basically if you think that ancient Egyptian artifacts in the libraries were destroyed, when the world finds out about what they destroyed with the Olmec in Mesoamerica, it makes Egyptology look like nothing. So go ahead. So they've been destroying Mesoamerican information even more than they have with ancient Egypt because it'll link us to this land and to get up out of here. But go ahead.
I wanted to show these little bags right here, right? So these are the burlap wine bags that back in the day used to carry wine in, right?
I didn't know that.
Okay, so like back in when we're reading about ancient time or the Bible times, they used to carry wine in these. They call it like wine skins, right? And for those that may be trying to keep up, let me give y'all a breakdown. So the universe, or our universe, I should say, when they say it has no beginning, no ending, if you notice the inside of that bag when tied up would be circular. Things that are circular cycle don't have a beginning and ending. You know what I mean? You can't find where they begin to end, right? So what I would say, those machines we were talking about, the hadron colliders, what they do as opposed to what we're discussing. So we're discussing going from one of those burlap bags to the other the same way we FaceTime without having to rip the bag open and jump in the other one. And you get what I'm saying? And what they're doing, because they don't understand it, once again, like I say, let's not give them so much credit because they don't understand like that. What they're doing is they're attempting to bust it open, which will make the wine leak out. Now, like them old wine skin bags, if you don't take care of it right, I think if you put it in certain temperatures and all that, it'll start leaking because the skins, right? So these colliders are going to create a leak. It's not going to be like an opening to go straight through, like how we're talking about, like how you would FaceTime from one bag to the other, right? Is dealing with the ethers. They're dealing with it in the material level, where we're gonna boom, 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 boom. Okay, it's an opening now. Let's go through. No, that's a leak. That's not just an open. That's a leak. This is dangerous what they're doing. They're leaking energies, and for all we know, because we're not so in tune on the spiritual matters, it could already be going on. All this stuff we see going on could be already leaking. You get what I'm trying to say? Like leaking from other universes, energies that don't belong here, energies from here that don't belong there. And what we're experiencing now is the intertwining in the you know what I'm saying? Like the mixing up, the bad reaction, if you will, right? My bad. I was just trying to put that on the screen. I didn't mean to take it out. Yeah.
Interesting.
I would
analogy.
say.
I just said that's an interesting analogy. I feel you.
Well, we'll go ahead.
That's all I just wanted to point that out there. That what they're coming with, it may make sense to those who look it up, but we have to understand what they're really saying. They're making machines to break through something that we already travel back and forth from without ripping anything.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That's
so
that's what a lot of these religions are talking about when they're talking about communicating. You know, they may use a different language that's already been spookified to us, angels, spirits, but they didn't speak English. You get what I'm saying? But nobody's saying we're going to see an angel or a spirit, but you know what I mean? That's not the language they spoke. So
Right.
yeah, so this what they're offering is a physical rudimentary duplication or imitation of this high science that I hear you speak on all the time. You feel what I'm saying?
and clearly they've been going to war. I mean, it's just an obsession. Even in their outer space movies, they're going to war with someone. You know, in the first Stargate, they tried to blow up Raw. You know, and then they also tried to make the brother look bad. But that movie was just very interesting because it basically showed us that the government was already time traveling and that they stole these devices from ancient Kemet. That was the main premise of that movie. So everyone go watch that movie, The Stargate, and watch Stargate SG-1. And once again, what do you guys feel? Is there life on Mars? And what is their obsession with Mars? Is it a different landmass that they will fake like they're on another planet? Or are they actually creating civilizations?
Can
What are
they
your
even handle it on Mars?
I think there's all forms of life on Mars, from bacteria that we don't know, from energies that we can't identify, from forces that we don't even know how to notice, from living things that probably are bigger than us that we're looking right past with our naked eye. There has to be, for humans to believe that we are the smartest and most intelligent thing within this stratosphere is the most ignorant lie I've ever heard. Because we are the only humans who do not know how to actually move within harmony. In the animal kingdom, they don't eat when they have beef jerky. We'll go hunt a deer while we eating another deer and then just do it as a sport. All these types of things, it just proves that in this prison planet that we're in and these stargates that we open, we have always been in this continual cycle of some type of circular or repetition, beginning and end philosophy. Everything from our history, from our time loops, the moment that the time loop changes, it just goes away. We was tripping over George Floyd a couple years ago. When the last time you talked about it?
It's because we got sellouts like this. They've been using hip hop to distract us. You talk about music that has no soul anymore, that doesn't give you anything that you usually hear on the radio, is not giving you anything to make you think about political revolution, which was really the base of what I fell in love with hip hop, because it was anti-establishment and all that, a lot of those things, but had consciousness and spirituality. And here we are today, Snoop Dogg once again trying to downplay or he's trying to demonize people who called him out for supporting Trump. You know what I'm saying? So how is it that we're in this condition? Because didn't Malcolm X and Muhammad Ali warn us that that was the government's plan to make Black entertainers the leaders and spokesmen for our collective?
Yeah, and the reason people are calling him out is not just because of him supporting Trump, it's because he made a video years ago when Trump was running another time saying, yeah, which one of you jigaboo niggas is gonna go up here and sing for Trump? Which one of you jigaboo? About 10 years ago. So now to see him doing it now, it's like, bro, shut up. Like, why did you even make that? It's that money go to your head, so whatever you say is right. When I say don't sing for Trump, you a jigaboo nigga, cuss word, down talk you. Oh,
I
you
don't
know
think
what?
that was money.
I changed my mind. I like Trump now. Okay, it's all good. It's like, why you ain't come out and say, I apologize, I was wrong, I'm feeling Trump now. You see what I'm saying? It's the arrogance of it.
It's because that didn't have nothing to do with money, man. Money can make a lot of niggas do some dumb shit. But for you to take an influence like that has to be a little something deeper. Just how they got started with that FBI program, COINTELPRO. That man didn't was an active member in the Black Panther Party and believed in the cause and believed in the dream. But as soon as he was in a vulnerable position, his dream believing and his future revolution believing just faded away. So I don't. I think there's a lot of stories that probably happened where it's like, yeah, it is fucked up. I do want to call him a sellout. All three of them, Soldier Boy, all of them. But there always has to be some little middle lining reason or how you can convince someone like that. Like, how you gonna make songs about fuck the system? Take a correctional officer who's now a cocaine dealer. You have a football coach who's now crippin'. You got a young teenager who made the U. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, but to be fair though, none of those dudes talk about F the system. You know, hip hop been sold out as a whole. Like all these dudes represent that new era of just, you know, mindless entertainment.
What I
Yeah,
mean is conformity of living a straight upright. But society doesn't always have to be the system that the man want to build around us. It's the one to where you driving somebody. So society and harmony would be love each other, this, and the third. But the secular music pushes you in the complete opposite direction. That's what I was trying to say. But I digress.
Yes, sir.
And for our community, the impact of a leader, because these people represent those who made it. You know, it doesn't allow us to push being an entrepreneur, a professor, a teacher, a doctor, or a lawyer. You know, so we really have to look, why would Donald Trump and the government, when back in the day they were coming after artists like Tupac Shakur and Eazy-E, and now all of a sudden they're using, once again, hip hop artists to, one, we saw the Kamala push the agenda for her to vote for her, but now Snoop Dogg, Rick Ross, Soulja Boy, they're saying bow down once again to whatever's taking place from the slave master. Once again, for me, it's psychological warfare to tell Black people to shut up and continue with the time loop instead of raising your hand and saying, I'm sick of it. Because the moment we say F the Snoop Dogs and F the Rick Rosses as the characters, then they're pushed to the side. And now we can start thinking clearly, y'all. I guarantee it, the moment we start canceling all these hip hop artists who do nothing but promote with a debauchery or negative thinking, the moment we put them to the side, we'll start thinking of consciousness again. These are the distractions. These are the food meals of the mind that our mind is eating up to distract us. That's why they murdered Tupac, even though I feel that he faked his death. It's because they had to get rid of that energy. They had to get rid of the masculine brothers who had knowledge and had the power to galvanize brothers and sisters together to give them an idea in their minds of freedom. Because once enough of us have the idea of freedom, that we can have our own land, that we can trade amongst other nations, it will happen. Like I say, all it is breaking away mentally from the chains of the Snoop Dogs, Rick Rosses. And now we're able to point out, we see the Donald Trump, but we already know what's going on. So this is why we should have been had our political parties. And you saw what happened to Diddy after he, and that's another thing before you guys start going, that's an example. Like Jojo was saying, he had to do that because Snoop is under contract, because you saw what happened to Diddy. You know, you saw the moment he started saying the political stuff and all that, and then soon, boom, because they're under contract. So.
Okay. Now, you know, you skipped me.
No, go ahead.
How y'all feel about life on Mars? JoJo, when I didn't go, I got a whole thing for that. You know,
go ahead.
Hilarious.
I don't know how you thought you was gonna skip me on Mars, homie.
My
What
bad,
would you
bro.
think?
Hey, I gotta go to a little work Zoom real quick. I'm gonna hop back on, but let me take care of this little money real quick.
Peace, God.
Yes, sir.
All right.
So look.
So let's go to that Mars. Gotcha.
We about to go to it for sure. So this is me on Google. For anybody, no, put it back up there. Well, just put it up there.
Oh, that was you. Okay, my bad.
Hold on. I want to put this up here real quick. I want to show them something. So this is going on Google. This is not deep studies. This is not a top-notch book. And I'm doing this on purpose to prove to people, because you know how they do. They'll be quick to say somebody talking like yourself is pseudo or anything like this. So this is to prove to people this is how low vibrational we've become. We have access to all the information now. Now the new thing is, I don't even want to know. Now the new thing is, let's bombard them with so much low vibrational mediums that anything above that kind of hurts their brain a little bit. Have you noticed that, Jason? Like, you go now try to have a deep conversation, they're like,
They do. They tune you out. Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna tell you something. I used to feel like it was malice intent. I used to cuss these stupid mother effers. It ain't that. It's like working out. You trying to give a 45-pound dumbbell to somebody that lifts a 10, bro.
Or doesn't work out at all.
Or doesn't work out at all. Because the phone is all garbage, right? So what they're doing is they're not trying. What that does is if you don't use the tool, I'm not gonna keep blaming some ghost. If you don't use the tool to build or work out with, your brain muscles are not even going to hear nothing like this. Because as soon as you say Pharaoh and Mars or Egypt and Mars, you're like, oh, I gotta put this with that and that. No,
Yep.
no. Stop, nigga. Nigga simple.
It's true.
So Pharaoh on Mars, all we typed in, right? AI overview. Pharaoh of Mars may refer to a novel by Jim Mortimer, song by David Cortopassi, lecture by Chris O'Kane. Okay. In ancient Egypt, Mars was known as House of the Horizon or House Horus the Red. The Egyptians associated Mars with war, blood, and destruction. Isn't that the god of war in the Romans? See how they just passed? They just take it all. Check this out. Many archaeologists and astronomers believe that the ancient Egyptians on Earth, pharaohs, actually came from Mars. Not to Mars, from Mars. Not to Mars, from Mars. Or like me and you would discuss, why would we let these guessers give us the answer? We know from our studies back and forth. Stop trying to leave it up.
And then let's go back and forth. What was the color of Marvin the Martian? What was he?
Green.
Right, and then he had the black face, and then he had the
he was black, part himself. Yes,
right, and then he had the Trojan.
He had on green. Yeah,
he was a Moor. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
and then
Marvin the Martian, exactly.
Right, and Martian for me are the Moors, Murs, Mar, Moor, Mur, and so that's why we have the red flag, and then the not triangles, but we say star. But yeah, so for me, it also refers to Mars and all those other planets as well. Interesting.
So look, as this explains the presence of Egyptian monuments on the red planet, besides the sarcophagus, Warren has found what appeared as carvings of faces in unfinished statues.
Sidonia.
Now, this site can't provide secure connection. Oh, they say you can go here, but we ain't gonna protect you. Go at your own risk. Yeah, I bet. Well, guess what, y'all? Jason's talking about something that's so popular that you choose to sleep on. We can just go to regular images right here. Google Pharaoh Mars images. Booyah, a bunch of different websites. Al-Abraya, Egypt Today, Telegraphy, Science, Flickr. None of these are Wikipedia or none of that. Bunch of websites. People's Daily, Instagram, International Business Times. It's the real publications. The Guardian.
These are real life happenings.
Yeah. Archaeologists hail dream discovery as sarcophagus is unearthed near Hold on. No. Let's go back to Mars. And check this out. I should go to the video, but the point is, because we don't want to stay stuck on this too long, is yes, this is not just the brother talking of something he heard or something that we dive into as pseudo. No, this is well known, and what they're doing is this is probably like secondhand information in certain parts of the world, but over here in North America, where we think we so smart, this is still considered high level. You feel what I'm saying? Well, this is going on in the rest of the world. And I want to show one more thing for what I was saying earlier. Let's stop giving the narrative. Like, see, this is what the brother's working so hard to get y'all to see. The brother mentions going to Kemet a lot because he's trying to tell you a lot of these things that we think they know this and they know that. We already know. We already living. We already them. Right? And what happens is we give credit where it's not due. So I want to show, if you don't mind, I want to show this real quick. Where we were teaching this 100 years, I'm going to keep putting emphasis on 100, 1920s, 1930s. We were teaching this 100 years ago, and then it became the top topic of their schools and universities. I wonder why. It became the top topic, yeah, because they wanted to make sure they catch up. Were they over here talking about? Oh no, we need to be in on that. Okay.
Should go to Mars. Like, how long before we could turn Mars into someplace where we could live?
At first, you're going to have to live in transparent domes, but eventually you can transform Mars into an Earth-like planet.
How would you do that?
You'd warm it up. The fast way is drop thermonuclear weapons over the poles.
They are getting ready to make another probe into the planet Mars. But not just going up to Mars to take pictures like the Viking 1 and the Viking 2 in 1976. They are going up there to settle down, to take and evacuate their people out of the planet Earth, they think, because their scientists have said that they have polluted and destroyed the planet, and they're looking for a big nuclear holocaust.
Now he's making instruments to look at the civilization on Mars.
We will pursue our manifest destiny into the stars, launching American astronauts to plant the stars and stripes on the planet Mars.
Wow.
So this is not something like, you know how we think, oh, they know about it and they're hiding it from us. No, because you refuse to listen to us, you think they're hiding it from you. They're not. They don't even know what they need to know. Our people, our ancestors got it, and we've been handing it down through our own organizations. That's why I started the Black Illuminati, to reveal to our people, bro, what you so scared of, secret societies, we have that. They learned that from us, not ancient. Still right now, we got information that's sacred, not secret, sacred. It can't be handed to everybody. It can't be dealt with everybody. You know what I'm saying? But one last thing, just to show people that this stuff is out there. Because you see that woman talking, that was a sister from the NOI, right? So, if I'm not mistaken, that was one of Muhammad Ali's wives. So Viking 1 and 2 were NASA spacecraft that launched in 1975 and landed on Mars in 1976. The mission's goal was to search for signs of life on Mars. That's what she was talking about. That's where them pictures first came from, all of that. So yeah. These topics, like he said, in the movies, in the discussions, a lot of times our people maybe talk a little bit too much, and then they take it and run with it. Well, let's go check it out. Let's go. They said this. Why did they tap in our phone to hear about us twerking? To hear about us smoking weed? Nah, they know who we are. It ain't about they know who we are. We the kings. Not summarizing it. No, get into the details. Like the guy's showing you, you'll start to realize everything unfolding right now is about who and what we are.
Definitely, brother. And that's why I put up the Trump administration calls for leave of all federal diversity, equity, and inclusion employees without layoff plans ahead. So right there, you guys, the federal act of eliminating diversity, equity, and inclusion. Me, I'm getting my doctorate in that. You know, I'm studying that throughout history, you know. And so right here, we see that I wanted to bring it up. It links up with now Donald Trump signed an executive order abolishing the Equal Opportunity Act of 1965. Executive Order 11246. On September 24th, 1965, President Lyndon B. Johnson issued Executive Order 11246, prohibiting employment discrimination based on race, color, religion, and national origin by those organizations receiving federal contracts and subcontracts. Executive Order 11246 also requires federal contractors to take affirmative action to promote the full realization of equal opportunity for women and minorities. So right there, that's taken away. So they don't have to hire you, you know, let alone humans, but let alone us as a people. By law now, that's gone. And now they're implementing over $500 billion. It says right here, y'all, we go into an AI infrastructure So their plans are not including our people in the future unless you are the sellout. If you watch the movie Fifth Element, that's a perfect example of Chris Tucker on the future black man that they see. And then and then they had Zeus at the beginning as a president as well, but he was taking orders from someone else, still indecisive, Rest in peace, Sonny Liston. He was from Compton. He used to come to my grandfather's liquor store back in the day. And once he started running his mouth about Hollywood, they zipped him out, So when they put $500 billion into AI infrastructure, those are machines, y'all. And who is going to run those machines? Brother Crip Jesus already showed you Elon Musk right here. Let me take it to the picture. And so they're linking up Mars, AI, and this is the future that they see you as. Thanking God Almighty that you're free at last. Let freedom ring. Meanwhile, you have a person in control of the AI. Now, Donald Trump did a run test with the digital currency when he dropped his meme coin. So now we know that they can play with the finances. They're making up their own currency. Who's going to stop these people?
Hold on, wait. I'm catching up now. So you saying all of that was the experiment to see, can we make money out of thin air? Literally, we did it out of thin air as far as like pieces of paper, but paper still we got to cut down trees. The process we want. Can we make this stuff out of thin air? Can we take them to anywhere and just say your number's this, your number's that? You're not worth this. You're worth that.
Correct.
Oh, you're poor. Oh no, you're rich. Oh no, according to the screen number. Oh, we don't like you. Your shit frozen up. Yeah, you ain't rich no more. Yeah. Can we take them? Do we have them submissive enough to where we can just take them anywhere and just tell them your number's this? You know what I'm saying?
Yes, the people are enslaved. This is really the final call again for other people. Right here, the moment they start, all right, so if we weren't as so-called gods, if we weren't supposed to make the humans or have sex with them and intertwine with them to that degree, and so we made them, so imagine what they're making off of their laziness. You know what I'm saying? They've already told us that the AI, when they tried to shut it off, became intelligent enough to create its own code and know that it was live. So it's a fact that the AI is alive. That's why I always say that the movies that the CIA allows to come out is for a reason, because they're showing you piece by piece what they're doing live in action. We're living it right now, y'all. And like Brother Crip Jesus said, these brothers like Elijah Muhammad, Noble Drew Ali, these are the 1920s. So imagine their teachers. That's the 1800s. Then imagine their teachers. So the more we study ourselves, the further we go back in time, the more intelligent we were. That's what they fear. They fear you becoming intelligent enough to think for yourself. And then you can start seeing for yourself, which creates an explosion in your mind, beginning to activate your DNA, having a Big Bang theory every day, creating your whole new Matrix hologram through your own thoughts, through your homies and homegirls, brothers and sisters. And eventually that reality becomes firm, and it is what it is. You see what they're doing with the money and the digital currency. Okay, we can test it, drop a coin, they invest. So now they know if they create another event and they have certain people in power, they can control your currency. They can control your destiny. So now they're once again manifesting their destiny. So once again, the crusades are still happening, y'all. So there's a picture right here I have of the blacks of the land. And that we're talking about how in Mexico, they've released and basically admitted that there is an Afro indigenous presence, not just from the 1500s when the Spanish supposedly came. So
no, they admitted exactly. They passed laws for the Afro-Indigenous, admitting that there's a African presence in Mexico that goes back centuries, if not thousands of years before the European arrived.
Yes, they're trying. They still use Yago as one of the slaves that ran off the ship and started a maroon colony. So those are things that I know brothers like us are going to have to dig more into as this topic comes up. But for me, it's just amazing that at least it's a conversation, and not only a conversation, it's in law. So now it's no longer an argument. Now it's us getting to the Olmecs. For me, that conversation, and like you're an expert with the Black Indians, because this to me is where the culture is hidden for us to get the information on what to do also during these times as well. Why do you feel
and that's the point, to keep us in sheep mode. So even those few that are like still out in the under, you know what I mean, in the caves and know what's going on, they'll just be a few. Right? They want to make as much mass confusion and deleting as possible. If you don't mind, me put some on the screen. I got something exactly on that. Like literally.
Go ahead, brother.
Brother announcing the announcing the law being passed.
And these are natural juices, y'all. Stay on your fruits. And I know Mexico doesn't allow certain imports of poisonous food in their countries.
Recently, La Presidenta de Mexico, Claudia Sheinbaum Pardo, signed 2 edicts into law, which are breathtaking to say the least. What she did and what she signed into the Mexican Constitution are 2 parts. The first part was that the indigenous people within Mexico of many different tribes will now have the ability to have their own sovereign nations. Now, bear with me here. So basically, a commission is set up to recognize those indigenous nations within Mexico and teach them and show them how they can rule autonomously and set up their own rulership over their own people, because there's a lot of indigenous different tribes within Mexico. The second part of that edict that was signed into the Mexican Constitution recognizes, and hear me out here, Afro-Indigenous. So, and that basically states that written into the Mexican Constitution, it is now law that the Afro-Indigenous are recognized as full citizens of Mexico and are afforded their indigenous status. And then she went on to state that Mexico recognizes that Afro-Indigenous people were on this continent hundreds of years before the Spaniards stepped 1 foot on the soil. It completely changes the narrative of what we've been taught. It completely changes the idea that Columbus was here and there's just Mexicans. It flips it right on its head. Everything is out the door. This is a very intelligent woman. And what she has stated are what people on different social media platforms have been saying for years. Black man was already here. The black man was already here. We didn't come in slave ships. That's not feasible. It would have taken too many ships. They would lose too many people. But if you're taken from Mexico and South America and taken off the coast and sat off the coast for a couple months and then brought up and dropped off in Boston, that makes it a hell of a lot more feasible, doesn't it? Afro-Indigenous were here hundreds of years before the Spaniards showed up. I'll put this into perspective. The English Bible, the most widely sold book in history, the Bible. New Testament, Old Testament. You can go back in that Bible to the beginning of time of man. Adam, Eve, his wife, conceived from the rib of Adam, and the Creator took that rib. Their children, Cain and Abel, and how that conflict and one brother slew the other. The creation of the earth, the waters, the fish in the deep, the firmament. Okay, enough Bible lesson for today. But yet we can't go back before Columbus. What was the black man's history? How did he get here? The Phoenician? The Israelite?
Now, this is all part of the watering down, because to say Phoenician or Israelite, right? I respect it and I appreciate it. And like you said, I'm glad the conversation is here. But to say that completely contradicts the word indigenous. Indigenous means I came with the plants. I came with the soil. I didn't catch a boat over here. Because back when the world was one, island of MOOR, because remember, we don't say words like MOOR. That's the European translation. So that's all translated from MOOR, right? So the people of MOOR, the original Moors, whatever you want to call it, right? The MOOR people were on every part of this earth, including the side that's called Mexico and all that. See what I'm saying? They came with Mexico and Guatemala and Central America and South America and North America when it was already created. That's where they came from. They didn't come on a ship. You get what I'm saying? And I'm not saying no one ever came on a ship over there. I'm saying those that are indigenous, the meaning of the word indigenous means that they came before anyone else came. They came with the environment. They are one with the seeds, trees, plants, vegetation, animals, in everything else within that cipher and environment. They are one with it. They are it. You're not from something else. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And I want to say this too. By putting Afro on the front, it's the same damn thing they do with us everywhere else. Afro-Palestinian, Afro-American. It's a way to separate you from the actual people and make you some type of 14th Amendment brand name. Afro-Indigenous, Afro-American. No, it's not the Afro. It's the indigenous. You should call you the straight hair indigenous. You should call you the straight hair. Like they ain't got nothing to do with us coming later. That's why they added indigenous on there. So what this has to do with, they refuse to recognize the Afro people as the original of anything. So it got to be Afro-Indigenous. Whoa, these indigenous Afros, where'd they come from? Man,
it takes away from the validity of us being here. Certain words, etymology. Yes, it does. And right here, you guys, African Olmec civilization, were they indigenous, were they aboriginal? Like brother was saying, either way, we can mention Abu Bukhari. And when the land was won, we had advanced civilization set up all over the world. But here, right here, we see a statue of an Olmec, and look at his hairstyle right there. So it's proof of aboriginal indigenous presence in Mexico. And when we look at the pyramids in Egypt and Mexico, we see a similarity. But the difference is that the one in Egypt is blown up and not restored. So once again, when we look at the word Tehuti and Tehuacán, we see a similarity. And even when we look at Bonampak, let's take a look at right here where they found Pakal. It's similar to an ancient Egyptian burial. So once again, we see a similarity. And once again, on the bottom, we have in California Adventure, the mausoleum that they had the Queen Califia in. Once again, connecting California and Mexico in our aboriginal indigenous presence. Because once again, even in Disneyland, before they took the ride out, they showed you that Queen Califia was a Black woman and that she ruled California before the Spanish came. It was called Golden Dreams. So right here, we're showing you different artwork of the Olmecs. So when we look at the pottery alone, for those viewing, you can't just do that with being savage. So we have to look back at the Mesoamerican culture and say, where are these tools? Where's the knowledge and information? What was the curriculum? What was the education system of these people? And this is what we can grab onto. You know, the jade alone, they have crystal markets. You know, they sell gems and stones throughout the world, and you can make a living off of that. That's our culture, you know. So when we start studying ourselves, we see the wealth that other cultures are taking once again from us, that we can use to build our wealth and live and not have to work for them. And that's the whole point, is that once we understand we have a true culture, not just in Africa, but here in Mesoamerica, in America, and we grab onto that, not just as Afro-Indigenous or Afro-Latinos, but as Indigenous people of the Americas, we hold on to that culture. And so my goal, and not even say a goal, my hopes would be that those in the regions of Mexico have held onto our tradition for the day that those of us Moors, Moors, and Aboriginals and Nubians, when we're prepared and mentally ready, that they too can not just give us back our stuff, but teach us our ways again, because we too have been corrupted. I know we can't get our stuff back if we come with an American state of mind, you know. So we need these conversations to eat better, think better, be better. So the closer we get to our culture, we truly live in that. You know, we don't come with the so-called nigger mentality when it's time to leave. So this is preparation that we're doing to leave, basically.
You hit the nail on the head, because, not to cut you off, just you inspiring such a cold thought right now. I don't want to forget it, right? If you look back that 100 years I keep pointing out, right? Look how many prophecies have come out since then. Look how much things they've excavated. All this stuff we can just Google and Google and Google and put it up there, put that up there, put that up there, put that up there. When you know, me and you study a lot. Would you agree that a lot of these things were discovered in the 1800s and 1900s?
Yes.
Like 80% of what we put on that screen was discovered as far as by the European and broadcasted mainstream to where we could just Google it and pull it right up. 1800s, 1900s. Proving that those leaders of ours that came knew they were right and exact. Now, if we take it too religiously, like Rasta said, you know, Rastafari come and we just bow down to him all day, or we say, you know, Elijah said Allah will come and we just while it's far all day, or you know, Prophet Noble Ali said Marcus Garvey's getting us ready for the coming, and we just think it's just him. But if we realize each of those people that they say were getting us ready for a coming, they did not come. Are we not in that time right now? You get what I'm saying? Are we keep it real? Jason, flat out, man to man. Are we, if you look back to 100 years ago when grandma and them was farming and picking their own, are we not in the time now where we need to know how to grow our own food?
Yes.
Back 100 years ago when they were trying to tell us, oh, we Cherokee or we this or we that, and we forgot all of it by the time we was in the 80s just smoking dope saying, I think I got this in me. Are we not in the time now that they giving out the funds and Obama did what he did, that we really need them tribal names and connections? We can be getting everything they were teaching us back then has happened now. But when they were saying it then, we called them crazy. We called them pseudo. We called it out of this world. And I know it because just 30 years ago when I was growing up, we was calling them dudes still crazy. Nobody wanted to hear, everybody hear Malcolm X talk about, you know, the devil, white people, that's it. They stopped there. They don't want to hear nothing about the mothership or the Mars or the, you get what I'm saying? Or Malcolm X was the first person I heard say Shabazz is the moon people. Moon people? Moon? Skip that. Don't worry about that. See what I'm saying? So we've always ran with the narrative of the popular narrative, and just now because of the internet, because of the algorithm, I'll say this, because of the algorithm, people like me and you who may look up a couple deep things, they'll keep showing us more and more. Oh shit, did you see this one? Or did you see that one? Did you see the video? Right? So because of the algorithm, those of us that are into that can stay on that path, but also those that are not. There's no like our brothers and sisters used to hear about this type of stuff on the news, or maybe on a Saturday night certain show or something. There's not, you get what I'm saying? Now we have algorithm and internet. You just watch what's catered to you. So what I'm saying is, this is a time that we need to know our ancestors' rituals more than ever.
Yes.
You kind of get what I'm saying? Like back then, you didn't have as much distraction. You outside playing. You don't know. You probably run into some people, run into an old lady. Now you could go a whole 50, 60 years not running into nothing. Based between the phone and whatever you choose, the Uber to or whatever. You get what I'm saying? Like you can live an isolated bubble world where all these things that they've been trying to force on us for the last 100 years, we forget. You kind of hear the argument now about some dudes want to say, well, I don't want to know nothing about Africa. Bro, they fought so hard to get us to know. They didn't even want to let that information into North America for a while. Now you dudes want to throw away all the information we got from Africa. You see what I'm saying? Like it's crazy, bro. And until we learn, like you said, to see ourselves as the indigenous people of the world, we're gonna stay in this continuous loop of not understanding ourselves.
And that's the matrix. That's the distractions, basically, like you were saying. Them incorporating new ideas to make us think like them, because really we're supposed to be focusing on our culture, which is us. And every day when we focus on that, it's going to bring us closer to ourselves, the mothership, our culture, our land, our freedom, our wealth, our riches, that for me are waiting for us. Like I see the statues, the museums, I see all of that. We just have to want it.
Yeah.
It just has to become cool. So if brothers are trying to be like Snoop Dogg, Jay-Z, and not trying to be the God within, and then have examples like the statues that we have. They even tried to demonize our ancient statues. For me, it's evidence, because the moment we start focusing on statues, whether it's in Southeast Asia, you find yourselves, you can study that portion of Asia, which is part of your culture, and you can better yourself. And in studying your culture, you're going to find wealth, whether it's in you finding certain foods, certain products. It's an infinite amount of wealth in our culture that you can harness and then trade. And that's the whole point why they say Moors and MERS as well, is we could trade and go anywhere with that knowledge. And then now it'll be probably technology, not just seeds and corn and books, but product to enlighten and bring wealth to certain nations that we travel to, and then we'll barter with that because we'll already have wealth. But there's no wealth in their world. You already see if they're putting $500 billion in AI, that doesn't include you in their program. When you go study Google and Amazon and all these tech places up north in California, the black workers are less than 1%.
Wow.
And now Elon Musk is in charge of AI and with Donald Trump, and they just took out diversity and inclusion. They just took away the act. Elon Musk said diversity and inclusion is out because black doctors, it would be capable for them to kill someone, as if European doctors aren't getting sued left and right every day for malpractice. So once again, they don't have a plan for our people in the future. So just like Brother Crib Jesus was saying, it's imperative for us to grab onto our culture more than ever. And it's imperative to study our ancient gods and the brothers like Elijah, Noble, Drew Ali, and all these greats that came before us, that gave us clues and left us clues that is real food. It's infinite food that we can eat right now, instead of like our brother was saying, 50 years, it takes so long. Example, what I'm saying. When I was in Kemet, Tamaray, the fire chief had retired from Atlanta, and he was crying at Karnak or Luxor. And he was a Mason, top-ranking Mason and all that, blah, blah, blah. And I was wondering, like, why he was crying, and he was pulled me over, and he was like, brother, you have no idea how lucky you are. He said, you're in your 20s. He said, man, I waited my whole life for this. And so what it struck me is I'm just like, damn, So basically, a lot of our brothers and sisters don't ever have a chance to visit Tamare or Egypt and see the statues that look like them and see it for themselves. And so by the time you're 87 years old, it's almost too late to really do something about it. And that's why I see the importance, why the elders were like, man, like you got it. Like, and that's why it's nonstop, because the moment you see the statues in person, the moment you go there and see it, and then you can see the design. Like when I tell people, oh, I'm going to design this and design that, I saw it. What do you mean? Like, I can do that, you know, even though right now it would be replicas, you know, until we're able to do everything. But it's the idea that we can build that. So in future generations, we can do the same thing again, let alone find maps where we can refurbish things. It's just the information is infinite on what we can do once we grab onto our culture. So the closest thing we can do is form the alliance with our Mexican brothers and sisters. The problem is the gangs. Once again, the gang culture that they created in California was purposely done for these days, because they knew if the frequency like the 70s, 80s, 60s, where Black and Mexicans got along, and that was still now, the wealth that we would have already surpassed the Europeans, and we would have been able to drive them out of certain regions already. That's really what they fear. Just like California, there's only certain pockets where the Europeans really run. So they know if the Black and Mexicans are feuding, they could still run amok, create AI, do all this stuff, create these lithium battery factories that they know they can blow up. Like they're preparing to either blow up the planet and leave. Of course, we talk about underground, but they already showed you in the movies what they're preparing for. So the closest thing, like Noble Drew Ali, Elijah Muhammad said, is really study our culture. And for me, it leads us off the planet. It leads us off of this land to where either like your greats, they could turn into a Merkaba and become a being of light, or with the intelligence of communication through telepathy, you can call an actual vehicle from the ocean or from the star systems down in a physical form and get picked up when you're vibrating on enough, when you're vibrating on that frequency. And so if they distract us from that thought and idea, it cannot become a reality. Just like if you never saw a person dunk a basketball and someone was telling you that it wasn't possible until someone just broke the rule and just dunked it. And then just like when you saw J.R. Ryder go through the legs in basketball and he dunked it, all of a sudden the next year everyone's going through the legs, and then 4 years later people are throwing it off the backboard through the legs. So it goes to show you, if you see it, you can do it. So if I see a statue of Amenhotep and he looks similar to me, I'm gonna be like, who polished that stone? Where's the mathematics? I know the Fibonacci sequence. That's a curriculum. That's a culture I can live in. That's something I can do while I'm here, instead of wasting my time getting information that's not going to graduate me in the next dimension, because you never die. That's why they told you in school, and they laughed when they said the ancient Egyptians were obsessed with death, because we knew that's why you were buried with gold in that, because you take it with you. But if you don't have enough universal knowledge and information, you cannot graduate from the university, the school of thought. So those are the distractions. But now more than ever, we have to form our, school means hell in Hebrew and all that, but our schools and mystery schools of thought, of higher education and knowledge, so we can call down the mothership, because it's real. Look at the pyramids. What do you think they're used for? And so when you study them, there's a way to activate. And that's why I say Tahuti, the land of Tahuti, is Southern California, is California. Right here, there's pyramids all throughout Riverside, California, Riverside County. There's extraterrestrial activity all out here. So basically, there's pickup points throughout America from what I'm seeing. There's different mounds, there's pyramids all through, to where possibly that's where the spacecrafts will land for those who aren't able to ascend. And like you said, they talk about it in religion as well. Where did they get it from? Where do they get this knowledge and information that there comes a time where a group of people either disappear or spacecrafts appear? And when we study throughout ancient culture, they speak of the same thing. There has to be something to come because now they're bringing in robots. We need help, you know, like, and we say Jesus and all that, and I understand that, but we're talking about knowledge itself and why we're saying for help. We're not saying for help like we haven't put in the work. We're putting in the work to deserve a pickup. We're not asking to be on the basketball team. We know we have to try out for the basketball team, and we know there's other people trying out. And I don't know who's going to make the team. I know I'm going to try my hardest, but in real time it happens. And so with these planetary alignments, you see the consciousness shift. That's why they're bringing in the robots, the artificial intelligence, why to try to circumvent the supreme intelligence, which is you and I. This spacesuit is the supreme vehicle. If we're only using less than 50% of our minds, that means you can turn into a spaceship. That means that you can fly. Just imagine when you are able to activate. All right, so 50% is an F. That's how I look at it as a professor. You know, and I always tell my students, a F, my mother would teach me, a F means you didn't even try. You know, so a D is 60%. Like in your doctorate, you can't get less than a B. You basically have to get all A's pretty much, you know. And same with getting in a master's program. You can't get into the master's program if you didn't do good in your bachelor's. Just like you can't get into certain schools in college if you didn't do good in high school, you know. And it's the same thing as I'm looking at it on a higher level. They make us think by getting a job or money or getting certain positions in life or going to church and learning about certain deities that's it. They'll give you $1 million. They'll give you a nice job. They'll give you all these things to distract you from your culture because you're going to have to go through hell most likely. Well, you are. Why? Once you give that world up, it's because everything that you learned is just going to be destroyed. And the ancestors want to prove, you know, see a test. And then you're over here, you're on this side, and that's what people fear. They fear going through a real initiation in real life to be greater than what the slave masters have taught them. So they'd rather go through hell, already knowing that every 4 years they put a president that doesn't do anything for you. They create things and say things that they're going to do for you, and they never do. And as always, you're the last to get it, and you're the first to get the vaccine, like we need to bring up right here again with the Donald Trump. They have these plans for us. So let's add this to the stage real quick with the Biden and the Fauci. You know, this dude came on national TV and said that the first people that they're giving the vaccine to were Black people, and that Black people were going to be the most affected. And it found out that the vaccine was poison. How is this dude not in jail? You know, so Donald Trump pulled Fauci's security detail. So, and you already saw what happened with the other health guys. So we'll see what happens with that. And that's why Biden pardoned the Fauci family. So now we talk about, once again, criminal behavior from all the people, whether it's Biden lovers, Trump, it's all criminal family that doesn't love us, that we have to say, like, it's either you believe and follow them to, you see where they're taking you, or it's your culture. That's what's going to save us. Our culture is going to save us. So go ahead.
To sum it all up for people, not sum it all up, we're going to stop right now, but just to keep it, you know, we in about an hour or something in.
Okay.
Are you saying that, because there's some people, you know, they're so 1, 2, 3 with everything, they're saying Biden bad era, Trump good era. You know what I mean? Some people are simple like that. So what are you saying about Trump era? Because to me it looks fishy. To me it looks like they put the surface level topics there.
There you go.
Oh, I like trans. Oh, I don't like trans. And you know, that's what you become divided about. But you don't see that there's a big play going on in your face that both sides agree on. Both sides agree on this bigger play. But they're going to argue over these little things to keep you not only distracted but entertained. It's like a script. I'm the
Yeah.
good cop, bad cop. There we go. That's what I was trying to articulate as.
So
They're playing good cop, bad cop with the same agenda.
So
Is that
even
what
with,
you're saying?
yeah, I put up the JFK echoes from Elm Street because that's where they murdered him on. A reoccurring dream that they have people in a time loop again. So, like you said, entertaining the conspiracy theories from years ago. The JFK conspiracy. He was in Palm Springs telling Marilyn Monroe aliens exist. All these things about Palm Springs. So they're gonna reveal that, but that's old news. But I always say study JFK and why they murdered him on Elm Street. And then so when we go to Dr. King's murder once again, it's like they said, entertainment of the conspiracy theories. Was he smothered at the hospital? You know, it's over with. So they're replaying it, just like they had to use Tupac and Biggie to replay it over and over and over. Blood sacrifice.
Just to put that in your mind, like we see y'all reading, we see y'all talking all this revolutionary stuff. You will get chipped.
Yes, yes. And that's why they had the brother. I had a picture. I thought I put it up there. Yeah, this guy. The Antioch High School shooter says he was ashamed to be black. Names Candace Owens as inspiration and manifesto. So once again, they're trying to demonize the conscious community. Any term.
Okay, now I'm really confused. So the Antioch shooter, this man is black?
Yes.
He's identifying as black, and he said he's ashamed to be black because of Candace Owens. I don't get it.
Well, ashamed to be black, you know. For one, Trump and Elon Musk says they're going to attack the woke community, the conscious community, you know, basically the intelligent black community are speaking out against them. So the first act that they did was the New Orleans guy, and they tried to link that with ISIS, you know, and then the Trump blow up with the military thing in front of his hotel. And now next, another black psyop with a shirt, XP. What is XP? The digital currency. And then ashamed to be black, because in the conscious community, people are saying that they're not black anymore. And Candace Owens, who separated from the Republican Party and has been an eggshell whistleblower, you know, for the surface conspiracy theorists, she's going against them. So once again, the black kid who's anti-government, who doesn't want to be black, listens to conspiracy theorists like Candace Owens, is violent. The violent black.
Okay, I got it. This is the new narrative.
Yes.
The violent conscious guys. Okay.
Correct. And these are the guys who we celebrate. We don't pardon Larry Hoover. They don't pardon Dr. Malachi Z. York and Jeff
They
Fordell.
pardon Kodak Black.
Right. Big Meats right here. You know, so you see Big Key soldiers. So once again, you see a celebration by the government, because these are government agents, y'all. Remember, these are government agents, the hip hop police, being allowed to pump the narrative again, to distract you from the AI, to distract you from the son's president, almost 7 feet tall, taking over real estate, distracting you from $500 billion for the Stargate program, basically telling you that there will be no black jobs in the future, or you get with the program. This is the time for the separation, y'all. You have to separate first from your own kind, that Malcolm and Elijah were saying. You know, what we call cleaning house. You have to cancel these people out of your life. Then you'll start listening probably to jazz again, Earth, Wind, and Fire again. You'll start listening to different music again, because the hip hop doesn't age well. Like Crip Jesus was showing you the wine. How long did the wine age compared to, you know, the hip hop?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when
start loving again, got to get back to loving again.
So hold on, would you wait? Oh man, you just hold on. Y'all just sparked something in me. So would you go as far as to say, we see what the Hadron Collider does, but that's physical. That's manipulated by man having a lower understanding. Would you say on a higher vibration, us being the gods, us being the conduits of that energy, when we are vibrating too low, as not as just individual, but as a whole, when we are clashing too much as a whole, when we are murdering each other, cosmic beings murdering each other as a whole over and over, when that much blood is being shed on our planet as a whole, does that not tear holes into the fabric of the galaxy and the universe?
Oh yeah, and it doesn't even take a bunch of us. It could just take a few because that's how powerful we are.
Yeah, that's exactly what hip hop did. It opens portals. That's why they have us on CDs and digital tape instead of live music like back in the day, so you can repeat the record label CDs. That's why they had to stop the independent distribution, because all the record labels put undertones, and they have specific producers and stuff to put tones like kill, murder, all these things. So it creates timelines, time loops. So when you hear these songs every day over and over and over, it puts a hypnotic spell on you, and it puts you in a time loop. That's why they say when you hear a song, it takes you back. So therefore, that means your ass ain't supposed to be hearing the damn same song every day over and over and over again. It takes away, once again, from live performances and nature sounds, and it throws you off key. And so that's exactly what they're doing. They open portals through the music in the cell phones now and laptops. And once again, with the AI, they're going to take away the artists, and they're going to make AI artists the most top artists, because they're going to control the music now, which is the language and the healing frequency, which used to be anti-government, which basically was the news to let you know what's going on outside of what the establishment was showing you. But when you have the sellouts glorifying and telling you to accept the government, that lets you know that the spell is taking place. And so it's here. The medicine is our culture. That's the true food, the living food, and the invisible food, which is knowledge itself. And that's the wealth. And that's what we can trade throughout the world. And only a few of us, like Lana says, we come together, and we will be respected by the other nations once we have our own land, our products to trade with. And that's what they want to keep us out of the robot industry, because that's what's next. That's what's here. Virtual reality. They're taking away basketball and football. They don't need you niggas soon. They're going to make soccer. That's why they bring in the baseball players from Cuba, Puerto Rico, all these things, because I already said virtual reality, electronic sports. They're already doing drone sports. They already showed you that. So they don't need you, because once they take away you thinking that black people are rich through the NBA and NFL and all those things, you black folks don't have anything. You don't own anything. You're workers. And now that they're about to really take your jobs, and by law, they don't have to hire you, what are you going to do? So the majority of black folks are going to continue into the Matrix. And so the future, you already know what's going to happen.
So the point of this hip hop now, okay, so the overly criminal saturation is based on a plan, because you're saying, and we're seeing, folks, is what you're saying, you're revealing that as they're taking away the jobs, they're promoting criminality more and more and more. Now you can turn your TV and see somebody up there, I'm a hoe, I'm a drug dealer. Yay!
Yes.
Let's dance about this, right? They're promoting that more and more and more as they're stripping the jobs more and more and more. And this is not even something just right now. This is you just giving an update. Because if you think about it, the amount of factories in the industrial era and revolution of the early 1900s supplied way more jobs than we have now. Our grandparents could literally go to high school, graduate, and buy a house and a car from their regular minimum wage job.
Back in the day.
Yeah, so now that we're at a time where even with a minimum wage job, you have nothing coming. You barely can afford to even stay somewhere with jobs. Now you're going to take away more work. And not only that, that's going to be coupled with a promotion of criminality. And just to add on to that, if I'm not mistaken, the up movement of many industries going to across the water, was that not followed right behind with blaxploitation movies?
Interesting.
When did factories?
Interesting. Yeah, the end of Motown era, and like you said, Motor City, because that's where the Moors were originally before the factories even came. And then so they destroyed the economics when they had the brothers working in there. And once they took those jobs, criminal, so they want that all over America, and that's the plan. And so it's either you go with the AI and go with their system, or so this is the escape plan. It's the culture, and that's what's going to take us to the new realm of thought out of here, which is the safe haven to live in peace, righteousness, and our culture. And we're being observed right now. Our ancestors and different beings, good, bad, and ugly, they're here, y'all. They're already here. They're just vibrating on a different frequency.
Yep.
Some of them have cloaking technology. Your government already spies on you. They're able to go through your house and all these things. They already have the technology. So that's the whole thing of being righteous and being of love, because you can't get away with anything. But now
check this out, man.
So go ahead.
You crazy. Black exploitation, 70s, right? Would you say that's the 70s that really kicked off? Gangster, hip hop, all of that, 80s, right? A lot of dudes like to put out that false thing like, oh, it wasn't gangster in the 80s. No, we had Too Short, we had NWA. They was opening the door, right? So check this out. When did U.S. manufacturing ship to China? In 1971, Henry Kissinger, the U.S. Secretary of State, happened to visit China for a formal meeting that led to healthy trade relations between the two economies by the end of the decade, resulting in an increase in manufacturing in China. When did factories start to leave the U.S.? Between 1980 and 85, then again from 2001 to 2009, there were precipitous declines in U.S. manufacturing jobs. It is estimated that a third of U.S. manufacturing jobs vanished in the 8 years between 2001 and 2009. Okay. In the 1980s, offshore companies, by moving manufacturing operations to other countries or contract with companies in other countries to build products. Offshoring, particularly of manufacturing and low-skilled jobs like factory-based assembly jobs, began on a large scale in the 1970s, 1980s. So they start pushing this on us while they were taking the jobs. You're not only right, you're 100% on point. It's aligned by time. So if you look at what they're doing with the jobs now, and you look at what they're doing with the like you said, the culture, with the entertainment, you can see it. You can see it. This is the way of it. And I'll say this too, the same way you just pointed out something with the woke thing, right? It's almost like every time we get to talking about being affluent again, talking about who we are, they come with a full-fledged attack with this.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Every time. And it's a distraction. This, like I said, more than ever, this is when we got to, I don't even want to use the word wake up anymore. You know, what's the new term we have to come up with? Because clearly they go off of code words. They even changed the algorithm, y'all. So now that Mark Zuckerberg teamed up with Donald Trump and the guy from USC, and that's what I wanted to go to before we start closing it out, Sue. I wanted to go to this. It's the Donald Trump UFC link. And so when we see Mark Zuckerberg link up with Donald Trump, when we see Donald Trump link up with Elon Musk and all the top people, there's three people, I'll show the picture, like Jesus was saying, I forget their names, but Barron Trump. So we see a white supremacist movement right here in front of our eyes. So UFC always promoting low-key white supremacy, getting their military ready, getting while we're gangbanging, thugging, listening to hip-hop and all that, they're preparing for war. They're doing UFC. They're doing martial arts. They're getting war ready to change the economy with Bitcoin and digital currency. They're changing supply and demand. They're changing. They're linking up with Bill Gates to control your food. So like Demolition Man, you might be eating pellets soon. So right here, they're showing you the future, his son, you know, because we're dealing with a generation where most of our people do not have fathers. So this is showing them an example of what to do when you're a father by giving him the keys to the castle. So right here, y'all,
Message.
family structure,
Message.
you know, and this brother's about to be 7 feet tall. And so we start learning about genetics, start learning about stem cell research, start learning about cloning. And so who is Barron Trump's secret strategist who pulled in Gen Z? Because you got to remember the 18 and up, the voters, you know, the future. So the kids who are 16, 14, these are the future kids who are going to vote. These are the kids who play video games. These are the kids that are in AI. Our black kids are worried about Snoop Dogg. Our black kids are listening to hip hop, you know, worried about distractions, basketball games. So right here, look at this. So study eugenics, study how they use cloning, and study how they use war tactics in front of you. Because they're preparing for a movie like Escape from LA. They want crime in your city. They want sickness. It's time to escape the Matrix, y'all. And so it's time to escape from these people.
How do you escape from the Matrix?
This picture right here. It starts there that you're doing the modern day slavery. It starts with the mind. It starts with the mind and seeing the codes all around you.
And don't forget, the mind is more than just what we think in the head. The mind is in the stomach, the lymphatic system. So we have to clear our bodies in order for us to even be thinking the way you're talking. That's why I asked that question. How do you escape the Matrix?
To me, it is studying our culture. You escape the Matrix by studying our culture. Like Lana was saying, I'm juicing right now. So that's part of our culture. My best bet right now is to become more healthier with my food intake, not eat as much processed foods or any at all. Learning to not put death in my body, living food. That is my culture. What were my ancestors eating that allowed them to be so innovative? So right there to end it, I know Crib Jesus has to go.
Please let me, but you don't even got to stop talking. Keep talking. But I got something that illustrates what you're saying perfectly. I mean, it's, and I just found it. It's like divine timing. Let me put this up. Oh, there you go. There you go, right there. Check this out. This is why we need to get off them processed foods and get back to our real culture. Look how weird this looks when you look at it the other way around. Look how weird this looks. Imagine happening in a time machine and going back thousands of years ago where they didn't live like we live now. But guess what I said now? There's people living like the original way now. We think it's a mystery. So let's go in this time machine, which is not a different time, another place right around the corner. They got tribes here that's not living like this, right? We can separate, y'all. This is not impossible. Half of America's empty. I'll say it again. Half of America's empty. I'll say it again. Half of America's empty. Empty, uninhabited. Okay? And this how it look. This how crazy it look when you take this new poison that we so into somewhere natural. Look at this crap.
They say it's poison.
I don't know why it keeps freezing up like this. They can't even figure out how to open this thing up. They're like, what is this? Nature doesn't make things with plastic caps on. He's gonna try to cut it. He said, I got this. Here's the sad part about it, Jay. Once they taste that, that might be the beginning of the end. That's how poisonous the thing we're into is. Once they taste that, that might be the beginning. They might, ooh, it's dope. That's dope in a bottle right there. It says, leave these people alone. They live longer than us. Western poison making its way to the tribes. We should be eating what they eat, fruit, not the other way around. Uh-oh, he tasted it. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Y'all seeing this in real time? We are watching a tribe. It's real. It's happening before our eyes.
Sugar's probably addictive too.
He just cut a cap it. He just cut a piece into it. Now she finna taste it and go crazy. Devil. Oh, devil. Oh, yes.
Oh wow.
What
That's
did she
probably what
say?
they did to us.
Oh, she like it. Look.
That hit that palate.
The third time. Oh, hold on. One more time. Oh, there it got her. She gonna hit it again? Oh, damn. Well, we just watched in real time how they did us. That got to be similar. How they brought the bottle in the. Crazy, man.
So let's see, what can we end it with? So we broke it down with the city of Tahuti, y'all. We broke down the Olmecs for a little bit. We broke down some of the Black Indians, and we're going to talk about some of these slides in the next episode as we get deeper into the America is the True Old World. And right in front of our faces, y'all, remember, there's mounds all throughout the Americas. Start doing your research. Start doing your research about the pyramids all throughout the Americas. Start doing your research of the Olmecs. We showed a video that is proven that there is an Aboriginal, indigenous, what they call African presence, Nubian presence, Moorish presence right here in the Americas, what you call Mexico, California. So imagine all the mountains that you see that are actually pyramids waiting to be excavated with treasures, statues, and all sorts of things, you know. And that's what they're really distracting us from. They're distracting us from our treasures that are all around us, because the moment we stop becoming fascinated with the colonizers' way of thinking and way of life, and once we see that if you follow his path, you cannot graduate to the afterlife and to the other realms. Because once you learn that there's infinite amounts of planets and galaxies and civilizations all throughout here, then you start saying, wait a second, there's no point to follow their system. There's no point to work for them anymore. The point is to find out who I am before it's too late. And that's why they kill all of our leaders, because imagine if Malcolm was in his 70s and 80s and 90s and all of the greats weren't locked up. Imagine how far we would be as a people. So we are in a time loop, y'all. We're in a time prison. So when I went to Africa, I asked the brothers, why are you guys still living in huts? And he said they keep us in a time loop. It's not that they would have advanced, it's that the powers that be kept them from building further, just like us here as Black Indians, Aboriginal people. We would have already been building our Wakanda again, but we are enslaved. We're captives of war. Really, we're captives of war on our own land. And so we have to remember that not too long ago, they assimilated us. They made us think with words which are spells like black, colored, Negroid, African-American, Afro-American, which Afro is a hairstyle, not a culture or a nationality. They use word spells to take us away from using words like MOOR, MOOR, or nik, nak, and learning certain tones like mwang, and learning what they mean to activate your chakras and DNA, to activate thoughts that will activate innovation, whether it's farming innovation, technology, different curriculums of education that you can disseminate to your people to make them better so we can build our own nation up again. And that's the imperative time we live in. So when I show you these pictures of me traveling through Africa, I'm giving this information to you right now for free. A lot of brothers and sisters are on the internet giving great information, but they haven't been to these lands. So I'm giving you our ancestors' DNA as much as I can when I travel through you. Just like when you travel to certain places throughout the world and you give it back to your friends and family. These are the things that we have to do. This is why they don't want us to travel to Egypt. This is why they don't want us to know about Mesoamerica, because we could travel to Mexico right now and go through the museums and see these statues. And eventually, when we have our land, we can ask for our statues back. Because I know that they destroyed most of them, but they still got to exist. Why are they keeping them? They have to be keeping them for someone. They're keeping them for us, the greats, the superheroes who have landed back right here in these avatars to reclaim our legacy, to reclaim our throne as the gods on the infinite plane of existence, because Earth is a word. We're infinite. Don't allow words to trap you. You know, like we say, the moon people, or like brother was saying, Shabazz. So that word can take you to places. So right here, you even see us with the cars and circles. So you see sacred geometry right in front of you. You see boats when we go to Kemet right here. You see me touching the hippopotamus. So learn about why there were different deities dedicated to the hippopotamus. We can learn all that along with the cheetah. So as we close out, I'm going to drop y'all a video of me when I was in Africa. This is about 2006, and we're on I was asked to join. They say National Geographics are one of those top organizations at that time, to watch a wild rhinoceros get captured live on in reality. So luckily I had video of it, because most of y'all wouldn't believe me. But this goes to show you what they're doing to Mother Nature, and it also goes to show you how there were various different animals rolling around that are now in zoos, are now extinct, and our culture was based off of nature. That's why our gods and deities were based off of nature, because you studied the animals. You studied what animal ate this to empower themselves with that, what animal didn't do this, and that's how you learned how to survive and work in the matrix. The netters, nature, the netterus, nature is the greatest teacher. But if we get stuck inside with the AI and virtual reality, if we get allow ourselves to participate in the Bitcoin, the digital revolution, the robots, and we allow them to make us believe that AI is great, you're going to get lost in the video game, because you're already in a video game. You're already in a matrix hologram made up of light, atoms, photons, neurons, and electrons bending light. So therefore, that means the goal would be to escape, not to get more in. So that's the science that our ancestors left all around us, all throughout the world. That's the wealth, y'all. And that's the wealth that they're distracting us from, because that wealth is more powerful than their fake universe that they're building. Everything that they're building is fake. It's not real. It doesn't take you to higher realms. They make you think it's taking you to higher realms in their world, but their world isn't built for indigenous aboriginal people, because once you know your culture, you know that that world is fake and our world is the true world. And that's how you learn about we age different than them. Therefore, we are born on a different timeline. So if you follow their timeline, you will die. And you're never supposed to die, because you're an infinite being. Study your curriculum.
Retroop toch? Retroop is de jamming. Okay, those are let's have some of you sit down. The rest of you follow me up to the truck.
More action over there. some real shit right now. California to Africa. Yeah. From the hood to the burb. Yeah. We're here. Yeah. I told you. Let's get it. Africa. Tell him. That's right. History in the making, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boy Elm Street. We out here in South Africa chasing a rhino. Like we running through the hood right now, getting chased by essays. But this how we chasing rhinos. Getting chased by skinheads. You know how we used to do back then. We're used to this G shit. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm on the hood. See where the dark one is. Okay. Boy touched the rhino just now.
passwords back. That worked out really well.
So peace and love, y'all. Jason Elm Street Williams, Master of the Universe. Lana, did you have anything to leave us with?
No, I don't.
So we're about to end the show with that one. So hopefully you guys caught a real reality glimpse of my life, of me sharing it with you, and the sadness of what's going on in Mother Nature. They put that rhino in a zoo. Who knows if it's still alive? But once again, that's my life. Discovering new reality, seeing what's going on behind the scenes of nature to deliver the truth to you guys. Once again, Jason Elm Street Williams, Master of the Universe, July, August, September, October, November. Jason, I have returned. Plug back into the Matrix to deliver the truth to you. Let's try to call down this mothership together so we can get up out of here. Too many robots and too much mess going on. Jason Elm Street Williams. Peace. What is the Matrix TV? Oh, yeah, I forgot. Find us on thematrixuniversity.com. And as always, we have real solutions with real books. Jason in the Lost Pyramid. Jason visits the museum. And you can find all those on Amazon. We're out. Peace and love and righteousness. Love each other.